We love horror movies from the 70s and 80s, and we watch them for 2 days straight, and then we go write a book. Now we're looking back at every title, one at a time, in this podcast that we put out monthly. Once we've had an episode for every movie, it's time to meet up for another Shock Marathon. Well, the red record button is red, which means we are recording another exciting edition of the Shock Marathons podcast. I don't know if it was on air or off air, but I believe at the end of last month's episode, I said, we got to do a good movie next time.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then suddenly I see on Twitter, Charlie lets the people decide. And the first, you gave 3 options. The first 2 were acceptable, and then the third one was The Forest. Charlie, why?
That was a ringer. No one was supposed to pick it, but I don't know why.
The people pick the blandest choices always.
Well, Owen told me he picked it because it had a generic title. I don't know why. And I tried to talk up Blood Cult because I'm a Blood Cult man, and
Screaming Dead would have been great too.
Yeah, on a scale of like 1 to 300 of sort of fun, zany movies, Blood Cult is like in the 270s.
Yep.
This is like in the 80s or the 72s, like somewhere down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I might have to, just declare the next movie because we have had a stretch of just pain, Tom. Pain.
I think I think maybe the universe was like really into middle-aged bickering, and we just had to ride it out.
Yeah. Well, let's just get into it. The movie's called The Forest, and it opens up with 2 hikers walking in the forest with really easy listening lounge music in the background, synthy. It's got some 80s synth, but some 70s easy listening. It's this painful combination. And,
I didn't mind it too much.
It wasn't too bad. It eased into the movie. It's better than a lot that's gonna come after.
We get a point of view.
Yeah, that's Stafford Morgan too. Is the guy, right? Is the main guy in that scene?
No,
he's like he's a known guy. I've seen him in a bunch of movies.
So they got him for the big intro. Yeah. Interesting. So we get a point of view shot from high on the rocks that implies someone's watching these hikers. We see that the girl hiker's nervous, looking around. It seems that they use the same exact shot of her looking nervously. Did you guys notice that?
Yes, I did.
Definitely.
Wow, that's something, huh?
From the director of Love Butcher, we get some confusing screen geography and lack of suspense there.
Who would have thought? So now
you wonder if they shot this like after they were done.
They're like
have an intro.
We need an exciting intro. Let's bring in a ringer and this actor who, according to Tom, is well known. Let's listen to the woman explaining that she's concerned about their situation.
There's something following us.
There's nothing out there. It's your imagination.
I don't think so. Aren't there supposed to be bears or something around here?
No. Besides, they're more frightened of us than we are of them.
Be too sure.
Come on, I want to get there before dark.
Hey, I've got an idea. I know the way as well as you do. Why not let me go first?
If it'll make you feel better, be my guest.
It will.
So that's some fun back and forth. Tom.
I'm sorry. I just realized where I know that actor from. He was in Capture of Bigfoot.
Oh, wow.
So maybe he's not a big name.
Well, in our world.
All things are relative to us.
Yeah. It's better for us.
Charlie.
In that part there, when she says, please let me go first, I was actually watching it with Teresa, and she said, they're going to separate or something? Because you don't say it that way. You say, let me walk
leave.
In front of you.
Yeah.
I thought, she's going to just take off several minutes in advance. How much safer are you if you're going to get mauled maybe just a couple seconds later?
Yeah, or first. Who knows? But, I mean, and what I note next is that even though she's scared, she keeps walking, way ahead of the guy. she's like in danger of losing him. In fact, she does, and he's stabbed in the gut. So I mean, it's like she's frightened, and there's safety in numbers, but she's like ditching the guy she's with. So he gets stabbed. Then she's like, "What? Do you say something, honey?" After hearing some painful cries, she finds his dead body. She runs away, but she's no match for this killer. Wherever she turns, he's there, which is just dumb. Like 1 minute he's behind her, and then she's in front of her. It's like, let's make it a little realistic. But he slices her neck. Charlie.
Yeah, and there's no good reason for him to have any sort of special powers except he's been in the woods for a while and has some wood skills. Yeah. That's it.
It makes no sense that he's suddenly. So
when you finally meet him, you're not convinced.
You're not impressed. Yeah,
doesn't look that fleet of foot or menacing, really. Yeah.
So we see her bloody hand next to a flower, and then another shot of a flower. Only this flower is high atop a hill that overlooks Los Angeles. Shots of traffic as we hear a traffic report on the radio, and it's reminiscent of Not Slash Dream.
Cage Terror.
The beginning of Cage Terror when there's a news report. Modern life is very difficult. People do not feel in touch with the earth anymore. Charlie.
Can I call it a polemic, Tom?
Yeah, I think you can.
Okay, so it's like this anti-urban, I guess the worries of smog and traffic polemic. And I love how long it was. I mean, it's funny that it's in here at all. But there were like 3 or 4 separate newscasters talking. It was so overdone, and it has nothing to do with the rest of the movie. If this were a When Animals Go Wild movie, and they were like mutated by the smog,
right?
Yeah,
fine. It's good. I actually liked how zany it was, how incompetent.
Tom?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't even the polemic against the like smog and things. They actually were giving you traffic reports like don't take this highway because there's an accident. It was unbelievable.
So now we get to we're lots of shots of traffic over during this, and then we get to meet Steve and Charlie, a couple of miserable people, and let's listen to the two of them chatting in the car about how sick they are of city life.
Another slammer.
Man, I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here. I'm going nuts.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
All this smog, this heat. 2 hours to go 20 miles. This is ridiculous,
Come on, Charlie. Just take it easy.
Look at all these clowns. They're all crazy. Hey, I'm surrounded by insanity.
You know something, Charlie? I think you need a vacation. Why don't we go camping? I got a place that nobody goes.
Why not?
Because they don't know about it.
Look, I don't know, Steve.
Now, come on in. Do you some good. Why don't you ask your jailer? Maybe she'll let you go.
Yeah, she'll let me go. She'll be glad to get rid of me.
Yeah, mine too. You know, we haven't been getting along too well lately. We've been discussing divorce.
I'm sorry to hear that, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
Hey, look, I'll tell you what. Why don't you come over to the house tonight and we'll cook up some steaks. What do you say?
Well, that sounds good.
You bring the steaks?
Oh, that's straight out of a Tommy Wiseau movie. I didn't realize it till now.
Wow,
it's magic.
So much going on there. I mean,
okay.
where to start? First off, the way that so the guy who's getting divorced potentially is Steve, and it's like this aw shucks, like booming. The way he delivers his lines, it hurts, but it almost hurts so good, not quite. Charlie, your thoughts?
I agree. He's annoying. He thinks he's good, and you can feel that he thinks he's good, which is bad. As we'll see in the next scene as well, it doesn't track at all. I know we're going to get to this, but remember here how much he's talking about marital strife and that they want to go camping by themselves. And
I was shocked that the ladies were even at the dinner that night. I was like, clearly the two guys need to hang out, and then they're all hanging out, and there's a little
everything's
friction.
Fine.
a little friction, but it's playful. It's playful. Oh, Tom.
I was just building on what I had mentioned before. That this is just like the beginning of Rituals. Everyone is just bitter and angry. It's like nobody wants to watch a movie where it starts this way. Like you start happy and then the horror kicks in. You don't start miserable.
That's a really good point. Yeah, if it's a horror movie, there's going to be plenty of misery down the road. So let's let's have a little bit of joy.
When the guy goes, "Hey, I got a place where we can go camping where nobody goes," and then Charlie goes, "Why not?" And then he says, "Because nobody knows about it." You would think that they meant why not, because why not go camping, like at the drop of a hat? Like it could be taken both ways, and I thought it would be taken the more logical way.
Yeah.
And the announcement of the marital troubles, it's so written.
We don't need this drama. Yeah, it's so written, so not the last thing I want to hear about in this supposed to be a fun
potential divorce. Yeah. Okay, so we got Steve, who might be divorcing, and Charlie, the other guy. That night, the two wives expressed their anger that the guys want to go camping without the wives. And Steve explains the first coyote howling will send you running for home. I bet listeners you'd like to hear people arguing between Steve and his wife about camping. So I've got it for you right here, about 30 seconds worth.
Whatever you say.
What do you know about it?
A lot more than you.
As I remember, you got us lost many times.
Twice.
Twice in the same day.
Well, I got us there, didn't I?
Barely.
And who fell in the river and almost drowned?
I just wanted to go for a swim.
With your clothes on? I think I better check on the dinner. Somebody has to.
Somebody has to. Oh.
What does that mean? That has nothing to do with the camping responsibilities or what they were just talking about.
Everything is
just
wrong
bragging
with this.
and acting so macho.
Oh, and just the comedy, like, I just wanted to go swimming with your clothes on. It's like that only a writer is gonna craft the conversation to end up that way. You know, Tom?
Yeah, it's so awkward. And you compare, the great middle-aged horror movie of all time, Bloodstalkers. just compare the moments, I hate all these people. And the Bloodstalkers people, at least, they try to have some characterization. They have some actual drama. They actually have like a sort of legitimate like strife between a couple.
Yeah.
This is like it's just this weird playful banter. It doesn't go anywhere.
And it's so inconsistent. It's just so inconsistent, and we don't like these people. But frankly, given how much worse the movie gets, I'm now looking back at these scenes fondly. Yeah.
Are you gonna get to our favorite line, Farley?
Is it? I'm not sure. I
have our favorite line, Tom, right?
Well, I got something.
I think so.
I got another segment from this conversation lined up. So.
Okay, it's along this line where the guys are being real jerks and being mean to the girls like they don't know camping.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So Steve,
I think I know what you mean.
Steve proposes that they all go camping together, but he warns them that it could be unsafe. And here's him expounding upon how unsafe it could be.
Now listen, all kidding aside, this could be very dangerous by yourself.
Typical male trick. Whenever you guys don't want us to go somewhere or do something, you always say it might be dangerous or risky, just like there are bears or wolves or rapists out there.
Rapists?
Rapists. Yes, rapists. You see, they sneak up behind you. They grab you and drag you into the woods, and then they have their way with you.
More than you're gonna have. Get your hands off of me.
Nothing more lighthearted than joking about a rapist. Oh my God.
So bad.
Such bad taste. Such bad taste. So Charlie, I don't know if we got to your favorite line. What was it?
That is when I think Steve says the only backpacking you ever did was in bed. That made our list of best quotes.
I remember. And she says, "What do you mean?"
And he's like, I don't know. I'm not.
It means
nobody
nothing.
knows.
It's as it, like I was saying, it has that Wiseau feeling where it's somebody who was like, American men and women act like this, and it's all lost in translation.
Yeah.
Who says that?
But going back to Bloodstalkers, the difference, like Danny tells a great story of a fatal fascination with stairways, versus this guy who play acts a rapist attacking you in the woods. That like there's the difference between having a good time with these kind of characters and just messing it up big time.
And it's not a joke. It's not a parody. He didn't make it like you should never do that to begin with. But then if you just describe what a rapist actually does, that's not a joke. There's nothing about that. Oh, it's so wrong.
All right, so it's supposed to be a playful battle of the sexes, but it does not come across that way. So Steve's wife is Sharon, and I never even got the name of Charlie's wife. Either one of you know?
Teddy, I think.
All right, Teddy. And
That's
I'm
not
gonna need why not? I'm gonna need clarifications later. Which one dies first? Does Teddy die first?
Well, the other one doesn't die.
Okay, but you know what I mean?
There's the other girl, right?
It's Heather?
Sharon.
All right.
It is?
It's definitely
did you guys watch the
Sharon.
movie?
It's definitely Sharon is Steve's wife. I know that much.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. All right.
Yeah, it's Teddy. It's Teddy. Yeah,
Okay, Sharon and Teddy. Okay. So Teddy tells him that she has something to prove. She feels like she has something to prove. So Sharon invites Steve. Oh, it's so confusing. 1 minute. Oh my God.
It makes no sense. It's like, all right, we're gonna go camping next week. They explicitly say next week.
And
then the girls say, we're
later.
gonna go tomorrow. And he's like, well, maybe we'll go tomorrow too. It's like, why don't we go together? Well, maybe we'll meet you there.
And
Like,
it gets to the point where they're leaving like minutes separated from each other. And it's just bad and confusing for no other reason than they didn't know what they were doing.
No.
And the guys think they're doing a clever, great trick.
Yeah.
The girls were expecting them there that night. The guys are all giddy and hide behind the tree. We're going to leave slightly early. Get there slightly early tonight. And they weren't even planning to leave slightly early to like dress up in a monster costume and scare them or surprise them with a fancy dinner. They were just going to be a little bit earlier than expected.
That's it, yeah. But it's so weird. In the matter of 30 seconds, the guys at one point are leaving in a week. And then within 30 seconds, they're leaving now. And it somehow like it didn't affect anything, like their work schedules, etc. Not that I want to get into that.
They say it's 5 or 6 days that they're going for later when they talk to the ranger.
Yeah.
So it's a mess.
They go, let's just go.
Why didn't we wait for them? One of the girls asks as they're driving off, which, so does the audience. This is ridiculous. The guys have trouble with their truck's radiator. They need to stop for repairs. They have this funny shot, sort of funny shot of the mechanic after they left, like just being so happy that he ripped them off. Isn't that the best?
Yeah, but talk about like cliche and uninteresting writing to say like, hey, small town mechanics are all, rip off artists and good old boys.
Yeah, it's an obvious thing to do. How about and
again the timing, right? They could have just said, oh, we have some work. They had already established that they had work stuff or something, and they weren't going to be able to go right away. So then they let them go at the same time, but then they make their car break down, so they have to be delayed. Like, they already had a reason to be delayed.
Yeah, it's very convoluted. Very convoluted.
So you have to write a whole other scene to explain it away, hire a different actor to play the mechanic, and then make a dig at small town mechanics, but how rip-off artists they are. And they want us to be on the side of Charlie and Steve, but I'm on the side of the mechanic.
Yeah.
Like, these guys come in saying how
couple of
fix my thing
dopes and do it quickly. Yeah, so annoying.
Yeah. Oh.
Did you know? Now we get a montage of the ladies hiking, and I feel like it's the same exact shot from the beginning of the movie when the other couple is hiking. The long shot. Do you guys know when they're like walking through like a valley area? Did you guys note that?
Maybe subconsciously.
Not sure.
There was a good song there, wasn't there? I have in my notes. There's a song that's called "I'm Coming On Up." I think.
Yeah.
I'm Coming On Strong.
Ah.
It was very womanly 70s pop.
Nice. I
Mhm.
missed that. I mean, I'm sure I heard it, but I didn't note it. The ladies stop for a break. They're pretty sure they're going the right way. Whose dumb idea was this anyway, says one of them. I guess Teddy says that, and Sharon says, I wonder. Which is, like, that's the way all these people talk to each other, with, like they're part of some in-joke that doesn't actually exist or something.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much that, like, are you sure we're going the right way? I don't know. Are you sure we're going the right way? Like that is said like 6 times.
And it happens like this. I mean, you would only have to have one back and forth where they were like slightly happy and like on the trail and walking off. Right off the bat, it seems, except maybe there's one shot, but right off the bat, they're angry and lost and complaining.
Yeah. So they struggle to set up a tent by the river. There's a constant mixture of anger and bemused know-it-allness is what I wrote in my notes, which is exactly what Charlie was just saying.
Exactly right.
The guy.
There's something. What's up with that tent? Do they not have all the parts? I think
like they wanted some sort of humor to be shining through, but it was just confusion that I got out of it.
Yeah, because and then when the guys show up, the tent is pitched, so they figured it out.
It makes no sense. Whatever comedy didn't work. So then the guys park next to the ladies. By the way, I thought this movie was the one with the park ranger who plays the banjo. Tom, you know that movie?
Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's the Prey.
If only this had been the Prey. I would have much preferred.
It's not human and it has an axe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Prey is good.
We'll do that one of these times. So when I saw that forest ranger, I thought that was him. But
it sounded like you were gonna say great, and then you downgraded it to good on the fly, Tom.
No, I love the Prey. I love it.
It is very good. I'm looking forward to that one.
Let's listen to the forest ranger warn them to be careful.
You know where you're going?
Yeah. I hope so.
Well, be careful. You know, over the years, there's been some people ain't come back from in there.
Why not?
Who knows? Fell off a cliff, drowned. The only strange thing is they're still missing. We never even found their body.
It's pretty weird, isn't it?
How long will you be gone?
I don't know, 5-6 days? Why?
We like to know these things. I'll check back in a week. You boys have a good time.
Oh, say, listen, you didn't happen to see the owner of that car, did you?
Nope. Just got here myself. Be careful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That guy looks like he's in Doller movies. Is he? That actor?
No, he has that same look, though, the same feel as the sheriff from Alien Factor.
Yeah, big time.
He's actually, that's the director.
Ah, good for him.
Oh, okay. He should come back in 5 or 6 days, not a week, because if something has gone wrong in like the 5 days, it's 2 days of like lying injured in the woods. That
he can't be bothered. Perhaps the best part of this movie is what I'm about to play for you people, and that would be the theme song to The Forest. Did it? Do you guys know? Did it win an award from us?
It was definitely nominated. I don't know if it won.
Let's listen.
Sorry, boss.
You coming?
Okay, I can't take any more. But it's very bombastic in a good way. I like that.
It's great.
I'd love to make a request at like a radio station, like, hey, we're taking all requests. Anything you got? We got a vast collection here. Call in. Hey, may I hear the theme? The Forest, also known as theme song to The Forest, the Don Jones directed movie from 1982.
That would be.
That is good though. You could hear someone like belting that out in a lounge in this 1979 or something. It's got that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's funny how
awesome.
because movies take so long. The style of the music is always a few years behind the release date, and that's great because you get a lot of lingering disco into the early to mid '80s movies.
And those guys were out of work by this time too. Like, hey, you want to do a theme song for me? We're like, I'll give you $50. They're like, yeah.
Okay, so the guys bicker a lot as they try to get to the site before it gets dark. It looks like midday though the whole time. They're like, it's getting dark and the sun is directly above them, but we'll let it go. Night eventually falls. The ladies enjoy a fire. They're happy until they hear the roar of a big cat, it seems. Now we get a POV shot of somebody watching them. It's somebody with poor vision. Now, I don't like who, is that the ghost kids? Is that what they see, Charlie?
I think so. I think so. Because the dad learns about the girls from the ghost kids.
So that's the ghost kids watching.
Yeah, but I thought vision that heaven granted would be infallible, would work well. I would think ghost vision would be quite nice.
Yeah,
but
they can't see
maybe,
very well. Well, they speak.
Who knew?
They speak in reverb, so it's understandable that they would see in blur.
Good point.
So now there's a flashback. There's a flashback of a brother and sister. No, it's not a flashback. I thought it was a flashback, but it's the ghost children. They're
they're there looking and talking about the ladies.
Okay, so now we get now listeners, we're introduced to what this movie is, and this movie is the tale of dead children who are roaming the forest, helping their father who's still alive to find victims to eat. Right, Tom? Is that
Correct.
Except they've now had a change of heart, Charlie.
They don't really want to help him, though. They just want to dance around the topic.
Yeah.
Oh my God! What a ridiculous! Like this is the premise. Oh no!
Because they sometimes warn people away if they are nice.
Yeah, and they're running from their dead mom. Their dead mom's out looking for them all. It's so convoluted and inconsistent. Oh no, Charlie.
One of the ghost kids, his credited name is Corky Pigeon.
Oh, that's the worst thing I've ever heard, ever. I'm so mad. Tom, you have
I thought it was the perfect time to just stick the knife in a little.
Tom, what do you got? Anything?
I'll bring up my Star Wars reference later, I guess.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a teaser.
Okay, so the ladies.
I wrote a whole essay about it. Don't you remember?
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
Well, I could see Star Wars influencing a lot of movies at that time, so yeah, it makes sense. The ladies continue to be frightened by the noises. They hate to admit it, but they wish the men were there. Then the ghost woman appears. "Have you seen my children?" she says. "If you see them, send them home. They must be punished." The two camping ladies are freaked out. They're huddling together with a knife for protection. Meanwhile, Charlie and Steve are lost. "Things look different at night, all right," Steve says, trying to explain why they haven't gotten to the meetup point. The vague meetup point, by the way, you know? It's like Steve and his wife, like, "You remember the place, right?" Yeah, the place. Yeah. The place that we met before.
More inside jokiness for no good reason. They could have just said, let's meet by the waterfall, or let's meet by the big boulder where Yeah.
Then we get to go into the cave where we call him the forest cannibal, right, Tom?
Yep.
The forest cannibal is in his rocking chair. He's built a nice little living space for himself in a corner of a cave, rocking chair, and it looks a little cozy. Is there even a rug? Does he have a rug spread out?
Oh, I know he's got like Liberace candles.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Candelabra, I think.
Candelabra, yep.
So the ghost children come in.
You imagine how many candles he would need? Those ones that were there would have lasted him one day.
One night, yeah.
And he doesn't even have food.
When you flee into the forest, that's what you bring with you is a lifetime supply of candles.
He informs them that their mom was looking for them. The kids tell him that there's some ladies down by the river, and he grabs his knife. So, like, the kids are totally up for sending, letting these ladies be killed at this point, it seems.
No, they didn't want.
No,
they didn't want to.
So they don't. Why do they do it then?
It slipped out.
Yeah.
It slipped out. Okay.
Yeah, well, I think the girl or the boy says, "Don't let Daddy know," and then it's like, "Oops!" And then he gets his knife, and they say, "Daddy's going hunting."
Oh, this is really happening, listeners. We're really watching this. I mean, Tom, what did your wife say at this point? Was she just groaning in misery?
Well, I think her exact quote was, "Rituals is better than this."
And Charlie, what did Teresa say?
We were just, well, of course, confusion about the ghosts. Like, are they supposed to be ghosts? They must have asked for, right, like a budget or a quote. What is it going to cost to make these kids look like ghosts? And they're like, oh, too high. What if we make them all echoey? Will people understand this is a one case where if they had been like real Return of the Jedi style, like see-through a little bit, we would have wouldn't have been as confused.
Right. Yeah. It's a good point. Just add reverb. Boom. You're a ghost.
Yeah. We were confused about the whole ghost thing. I mean, it's what a weird thing to broach and get into.
Yeah. What a dumb
Not
premise.
bluff.
So the ghost kids go to warn the ladies that their dad is coming for them. The ladies argue a bit, and then I guess they run away. It's very dark, hard to see. The forest cannibal approaches one of them. I don't know which it is. I don't want to hurt you, but I'm starving to death. I haven't had anything to eat for days, he explains. He hits her over the head and stabs her.
That's Terry.
That's Teddy or Terry?
Teddy.
So Teddy's dead. Sharon returns to see her friend getting sliced up. Okay, is it worth discussing the fact that you can indeed kill deer or any other type of forest animals other than the people? Charlie?
Sure. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's having better luck with
people are easier to kill.
To take him by surprise, where the deer are too fast for him.
I guess so. Okay.
He left his bow and arrow at home in order to bring all the candles.
So then he goes after Sharon. She jumps off a cliff into the river, then down a waterfall. The guy decides not to chase her. Now we get back to Steve and Charlie, who are bickering and hiking. It's very unpleasant. We're headed east, and east just happens to be the direction of the campsite. And it starts raining, so they find shelter in a cave. And here's where they notice that there's a light from one of the candelabras. Does that fit? Is that the right word, guys? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
Let's hear what they say about that.
Kind of spooky in here, eh? Hey, Charlie, what the hell do you make of that?
He looks like a light.
Yeah, it sure does. But that doesn't make any sense.
I said nothing about this trip makes any sense.
Come on, let's see where it comes from.
Oh, wait a minute, that's not a good idea.
Why not? It's probably just a couple of campers caught in the rain like us.
Whatever you say, Steve. Go ahead, lead on. You've been doing pretty good so far.
That's the exact tone of like the sarcastic humor or whatever you want to call it that between all these characters all the time, and it's not good.
No.
All right, Charlie.
Sometimes when I watch a movie and the main characters are reasoning things out the way I would, or in a intelligent way, I'm with them.
Yeah.
This is the 180 opposite of that.
Yeah, I'm not in supporting these guys in any way. All right, so it turns out it's the cannibal's house, the forest cannibal's house. The ghost kids warn the guys that they need to leave. If Daddy finds them, he'll be mad. Where's Dad? One of the guys asked. Standing right behind you, says the kids. Which, again, is the same. It's the same as when the conversation is, I just wanted to go swimming, and the other person says, with your clothes on? That's the same as, well, where's your dad? Right behind you. It's like, well, why were you talking about him as if he wasn't here a half a second ago, Tom?
Yeah, it's very lazy writing. I mean, the whole thing, from start to finish.
So the cannibal invites them to eat with them. It's an uncomfortable dinner party. The conversation is not quite flowing, and I guess they're eating Teddy, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so they're eating Teddy, which they don't really dwell upon all that much. It's it's there, but I mean, they could have tried to double down on the horrific aspects of that, but it's just kind of like they'd rather focus on less interesting stuff, Charlie.
The whole thing's really nonchalant here, and I almost kind of like it, but the killer, who has been so craving meat and everything, I guess he's just tired and like I'm feeling a little lazy. He just looks like a couch potato dad
yeah,
here.
He's not scary in any way.
Just chilling. He could take it or leave it, whether he's gonna talk to them or not talk to them or let them stay in his cave.
Yeah, he's not a Hannibal Lecter like pure evil. He's just kind of like a dope, just a typical dope.
He only kills people because he's so lazy.
Yeah, he's hungry
and
lazy.
It's all just he's just really lazy.
Yeah. Well, why he doesn't kill them like right in that cave, I still don't know. But
tired. It's a big day.
It is funny. I don't know if the actor is playing it tired, or like as he was supposed to, or the actor is just not into it.
It's the second, the second option. It's the second option, 100%. So Charlie eats some of the meat, and that's his wife that he's eating, right?
Yeah.
He's told that it's a doe. They're always in season when you're hungry, the cannibal says. Charlie gets a chill. Meanwhile, we get to visit with Sharon, who's seeking shelter under a rock. Back in the cave, the man describes his miserable life. Let's listen. Boy, I think he got nominated for worst life circumstance. Am I right?
I think he won.
And let's listen to why he won that award.
And then everything changed. It seemed every time I came home there'd be somebody there. A salesman, a repairman. Sometimes it was even delivery boys. I didn't think too much about it at first. Then one day I got sick.
So now we go into a flashback where he's basically telling the tale of how his wife made him a cuckold many times over. So we get a flashback where he's returning home to discover that his wife is in bed with the refrigerator repairman, and she very casually welcomes him home while she's in bed with him. And we got to hear this because it's really good stuff, right, guys? It's really good. Let's listen.
Yep.
Hi, honey. What are you doing home from work so early? Well, I suppose you're wondering who this is. This is Carl. He's come to fix the, water heater.
Refrigerator.
Oh, was it the refrigerator? Yeah.
Oh, what a cruel woman. And what's best is shortly after that, we find that Carl actually is fixing the refrigerator. After the
risky call. I don't know if he would have been fired if he didn't stick around to do that, but it wasn't worth it.
It's his duty. He sleeps with the guy's wife, gets dressed, and then goes like, well, I guess I should do what I was called here for. Was the fridge even broke? Like, how broken is everything that she has to keep? Is she just breaking things? You'd think that she would just lie about the broken appliances if that's all she was in it for, but they're actually broken every time.
They should have done a flashback to what she did to the appliances within his flashback.
So
imagine that we're at this point. We've met two unlikable guys who meet two equally unlikable girls who go camping, and the two guys learn the tragic and unpleasant life story of a woods hermit cannibal. And we see it dramatized. Imagine pitching that movie.
So, meanwhile, the ghost kids who weren't ghosts at this point, they were locked in the closet all along. the forest cannibal lets them out. He is just so angry. His wife is unremorseful, and she explains that all the repairmen have been coming through have been her lover all this time. Her lovers, I should say. And they gave her something he never could. Oh, poor forest cannibal. Yeah, Charlie.
I don't know if you guys felt this, but the ghost kids, it seems like they're wearing period clothes.
Yeah, they feel
and that
like,
made it extra confusing. They looked like they were from like 1910 or something.
Yeah, Little House on the Prairie or something. Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Imagine that. That one thing you couldn't mess up, you would think, is just have the kid wear a T-shirt.
Yeah, just go to the store and buy any clothing for children, and they would have been better than what they had.
You have to actually go out of your way to make them look out of place.
It's you're right. Back at the cave, he explains that he did nothing, but I think he's lying. And then we get a flashback of what really happened. Turns out he is lying. He sits down on the bed and strangles his wife, and then rams her head into the bedside table. Then he goes out and battles with the repairman.
Oh, we got to talk about the battle a little bit.
Who's actually working on the refrigerator. Repairman can't escape him.
Move.
Everywhere he turns, much like that opening killing scene, everywhere he turns, Forest Cannibal is there, and he eventually kills him with some kind of table saw or something. But I mean, it's a battle, Charlie. Tell us your favorite parts.
Well, it's in this weird like scrub brush plains kind of outskirts, and they're just running around picking up random things and fighting with them. And there's one point where it's half of a rusted bike versus Pitchfork.
Oh, that is the best.
And way away from the house, there's this table saw that is, I guess, plugged in with like a super long extension cord. And completely unbelievably, the guy is all of a sudden like wedged against it with his chest, and it turns on. But all the weapons and the random popping in with another weapon, it's sort of Naked Gun-esque.
Oh, it's fantastic. And you have to remember that when the forest cannibal killed his wife, he had told the kids go play outside so they wouldn't be around, knowing, it was like a death trap out there.
Yeah. They live in like a junkyard, essentially, with just all this garbage. Yeah. So when we get back from that flashback, we get to hear Charlie and Steve have a little conversation that I'll play you some of right now.
What do you think about this old guy? I don't know. Hey, do you believe that story of his? Nah, I think he's making it up. No, I'm not so sure. I'll tell you one thing, though. If it is true, I don't believe he did nothing.
What do you think he did?
Well, what do you think? Living here alone?
Shit, are you serious?
I don't know. Probably not. Let's get some sleep.
There's so much like double speak, just like let me contradict myself immediately after making a statement. It happens a lot in these movies.
Yeah, that's true.
It's horrible. It's like the first rule of screenwriting or acting is like, you're supposed to give the other person something to work off of, and every scene of this is like, I don't know. It just ends.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Then they argue about who's going to sleep first. And then it's morning, and turns out they both fell asleep.
Oh, they even argue about that. It seemed impossible because one of the guys said he didn't want to sleep.
I know.
And they've figured out a way. The decision was clear. Let the guy who's not tired, doesn't want to sleep, take the first watch or whatever.
But he passes out. So it's the next morning. The cannibal's standing over them. He wakes them. So much for their taking turns. And then he lets them go. I'm surprised that he didn't just kill them both. Charlie?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that he reminds me of a guy who has some house guests who've stayed slightly longer, or if like your college roommate let like two people sleep over and the next morning you were like, oh, please leave.
Yeah.
He's just like, he's not crazy to them. He's just like a guy who wants to have his cave back to himself for no good reason. He should just want to eat them.
Yeah, he should kill them both. I mean, he was starving yesterday, and Teddy isn't going to last forever.
Yep, and he's gonna kill Charlie. We'll see. He's gonna go hunt him and waste all that energy just in a few hours or whatever. But I just like that he seems like a guy keeping house here, where he's like standing over them. I believe it's time that the gentlemen shall awaken and start their day.
He's an evil cannibal. Yeah, that's so funny. So then they just leave. He lets them go. They make it to the campsite. The ladies aren't there. You sure this is the place? Charlie asks. And Steve, along with the rest of us, are like, yes, their sleeping bag and tent is right here. Of course it's their place. So they split up to go look for the wives. No luck. They go back to the guy in the cave, hoping for help. Steve, in his booming voice, declares, I don't like the feel of this at all. Every time Steve talks, I'm just like, Steve, shut up. You're projecting way too much, Steve. Sharon, meanwhile, is wandering around. She bumps into the two kids who warn her that she needs to hide from their dad. Which, again, makes no sense, because Dad had two victims sleeping in his kitchen that he could have just killed. Charlie.
I don't think we mentioned it yet, but I kind of like how matter-of-fact these ladies are with the ghosts. So at this point, Sharon is there, crawling through the woods. Mysterious ghost kids pop in with otherworldly, omniscient knowledge and abilities to transport themselves, I guess. And she's just like, hey, what's up, kids? What's going on? Well, my cannibal dad's going to want to try to eat me. And then she's like, well, what other news you got? She's just on board for it.
That's a very good point.
That's fun.
So Sharon goes to hide under a rock while the forest cannibal is gnawing on some meat just a few feet away. Tom?
And I'm pretty sure it's the same rock she slept under, so she's only gone about 8 feet since she woke up.
That's very, very true. Steve, so that Steve and Charlie, I think, are they split up, and Steve hurts his leg while crossing the river, and the ghost kids look on with pity. What happened? Did he get, in Rituals-esque, did he get it stuck in some kind of trap, or did he cut it on the rock, Tom?
It looked like he broke a bone. It was the bone was poking through his leg, I think.
He's just clumsy, and he gets a compound fracture of his, in his shin.
So now Sharon bumps into the ghost kids. It turns out their names are John Jr. Wait, I got their names as John Jr. and Jennifer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, didn't you just... Oh, I thought... Corky. Who's Corky?
That's his real name. That's how he's billed.
Oh, that's the actor?
Yeah, Corky Pigeon as John Jr. That's in case anyone ever asks you.
This sounds really fake. So they explain to her that Dad killed their mom, but they're okay with it because they didn't like their mom. Mom keeps looking for them in this netherworld that they're in, but they hide from her. They prefer being dead to being alive. In fact, they killed themselves because they were unhappy living alone with just Dad. So... There's a lot there. They don't explain how they kill themselves, do they, Tom?
No.
Yeah. Wow.
But it seems like almost that they were just tired of this forest subsistence kind of a life, and they just gave up, and they're just waiting till their dad comes around to the same conclusion.
No.
Really, I think that's it.
That's about right. Yeah. So now, then we get to see Stephen weeping as he struggles to move with his injured leg. Just so over the top.
Acting workshop 101.
He's got his head in his hands and just like exuding, fake pain. So much.
A lot of emotion.
The ghost kids announce that 2 guys are looking for Sharon, and they lead her. Excuse me. They lead her to the camp. Night falls again. Forest Cannibal comes for Charlie. What are you, crazy? Or is it Steven? I don't even know.
It's Charlie. Yeah.
Charlie.
Okay. Are you crazy? Says Charlie. Of course I am. We're all crazy. Winter's coming. I need food. That's all. So, like one of you just said, he let them go from the cave only to immediately start hunting them again. And not because... And this guy does not enjoy hunting. I just want, it's not for the fun of it. It's just because he forgot. He just wanted them out of his house so much he forgot that he could kill them. Charlie fights with a guy until the guy runs away. Charlie goes after him, which I don't know if that's the right move. I would say...
Turns out to be not the right move.
I thought they were supposed to be bringing her there yesterday. I don't even care anymore. Sharon watches the guy, the forest cannibal.
Charlie. Cutting up Charlie like he's a deer hanging from a tree.
Hanging from a tree. So that's what I used the wrong name. So it's Charlie. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she watches him being like gutted by the cannibal, more or less. Daddy's about to kill Sharon, but the kids plead with him to spare her. For some reason, they've taken a liking to her, and they threaten that they'll leave him forever if he kills her. So he relents. That's a sweet moment. But so like the inconsistency, I guess it's not that inconsistent, but. Anyway.
See, this is where the Darth Vader thing comes in.
Okay.
Because I think this guy is like Darth Vader. He doesn't want to be a bad guy, but he doesn't know what else to do. He's come too far.
That's heavy.
He needs to be redeemed by his children.
And redeem him they do. So now he's after Steven, who's struggling mightily. Every step is just such a chore for poor Steven, who's struggling and groaning and panting. The cannibal fights with Steven. Then Sharon arrives, led there by the ghost kids. She runs at the cannibal with a knife and gets him. And as he watches her coming at him, he sees images of his evil wife coming at him for no apparent reason. The kids look on and then say goodbye. Now that their dad is dead, they can move on, though they're not sure where they're going. And then the mom appears, and she asks for her kids. They're gone, says Sharon. I don't believe you, says the mom. Nevertheless, they're not here, says Sharon.
Nevertheless, powerful ending.
And that's it. That's the movie. Oh, wow. The only points I give it is that it's so far out. The concept is so ridiculous and unusual for horror. It's very fairy tale-y. So just for the laughter you get when you think of the pitch, like someone pitched this to someone who then said yes, like that gets you a giggle. But otherwise, it's just unpleasant people involved in a struggle that doesn't interest us. So you can't get much worse than that, Charlie.
It has nice box art, and it must have really ticked off some people who rented it in the 80s. You'd go to the video store, Friday the 13th is out. Let's watch The Forest. You take it home and put it in, and you get this Ghost Kids story, the annoying adult Ghost Kids, smog polemic, and then you get Lazy Cannibal, and then mom trapped in purgatory, kids redeeming father, and then you just rewind it and return it and never think about it again.
It's very forgettable, and it's real bad. It was excruciating. It was real rough to get through it. There are worse movies, but not many. Tom, any review?
Yeah, I mean, I like there's actually 2 or 3 songs that I think are great in there. The Dark Side of the Forest was another one. There's like the Forest theme song, but there's another one too that comes in that's pretty good. And I like some of the locations, like with all the huge boulders. It's pretty some cool scenery. But I mean, and there's only the one slightly interesting thing, I guess, is that this is the same director who did Love Butcher. And I don't know if you remember that, but yeah, and Love Butcher is pretty unpleasant also, but this one is interesting because it's like a woman that's like the savior at the end, and she's actually the strongest character, kind of, which seems kind of surprising for this director in his other movies that we've seen, but that's really stretching for finding things interesting about it.
Yeah.
Well, I commend you, Tom, for trying to find some shining good moments. Good work, Charlie.
They worked harder generally on like having interesting songs at this time in movies, like really casting singer-songwriters and doing like, hey, we're not just gonna do whatever. We're gonna create an original Forest theme song for this thing.
Yeah.
And like get studio time and record it. I kind of like that. And coming on strong. Give it a listen, Farley. Go back. Coming
good songs.
You'll when you go back to it, you'll
Well, I'll play you the closing credits at least. So you want to hear a little bit of that song right now?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
On the rim of eternity, life and death have their hands on the switch. Who is what? Which is which?
Oh, wow.
That's not bad. Nice bass line, deep.
Very dramatic
lyrics.
stuff.
Yeah.
Very dramatic. So what year was this movie? Either of you got that handy?
82.
82. Yeah, it feels pretty 82. But
it feels more 79, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if it took a few years.
That's
like
a good point.
These often
I'll
do.
give you
Yeah.
that. Yeah. And the disco-y music too. But it's I like older people better than younger people in life and in general. I root, the older you are, the more I root for you. But in horror movies, the younger people get it right more. It's more enjoyable watching 20-year-olds bicker, or they don't bicker as much. That's the thing. Also, when it's 20-year-olds, they're not usually bickering. They're just having fun. So I don't know. It's weird. Screaming Dead though, they argue a lot in that, but I like them. So it's just weird. I guess they're a little bit more lively and likable when they're young. You have to do it right if you're gonna have grown-ups in the movie, and they did not do it right in this movie.
Yeah, and you can bicker about like, oh, why are you, in a movie with younger people, why are you flirting with him, or what are you doing?
As opposed to a
Okay.
divorce, yeah.
Yeah, you bicker about the dance or who's, stuff like that. You don't bicker about
broken
the traffic
homes
and broken homes and traffic, and the smog is killing you, and terrible.
Yeah, it's not as light by any means.
Which way we're going down this path?
So yeah, that's the and then shock memories. My memory, I didn't even know. I thought this was gonna be The Prey. So my memory was of a guy playing banjo and then sipping on a beer and then playing some more banjo, and then when I realized it was this, I didn't even remember that there were ghost kids like that. I had no idea that was coming. So I remembered almost none of this movie, and I hope that I forget it again. Tom?
For some reason, I wrote that essay about it in one of our books, so I remembered it almost exactly scene for scene, and it was all the less fun for that.
And Charlie, any shock memories?
Yeah. Oh, I remembered the only backpacking you ever did was in bed. And
everyone's like, what? What does that mean? Like, what? That's not a phrase. I don't think.
I know, but it's so out there. It's almost worth watching the whole
that's
movie
why
for
it's
that
great.
one line. Yeah, it's great. So that I completely remembered. I was just waiting for it, and I remembered his lair because Ali drew the picture as well with the candelabra, the throne, and just the way that he looks. The forest cannibal is so not scary. He just looks like a trucker,
so casual,
a couch potato dad, and he doesn't really look like he wants to be in the movie that much. And I just remembered his manner, and I remembered the ghost kids completely, a lot because of their echoey voices, which makes them hard to understand and is annoying. But it also just made me remember how funny it was to have these ghost kids telling me unimportant details that I can't understand.
Yeah, I don't care, ghost kids. I like.
We had a picture of them too on the cover, right?
Of the book.
Shock October or Shock June or one of them.
June, January. There's the two kids.
June.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's the only joy you get out of it is the laughter. The three of us laughing at just like all the contradictions that exist, both in the dialogue and in the if you look at the big picture of the whole story, there's just so much confusion and like just eat deer. You're pretending that it's a doe. Just you have nothing. All you have to do is catch a deer in your life, and that's the only thing you need. You can figure it out. If you can brutally murder innocent people, you can catch a deer.
No, he's not capable of that.
What a
compare
weird,
this with like the ritual killer guy who was like he was a model of forest efficiency.
Right.
Yeah. This guy's not learned anything because he's been out there a while.
And they sold in rituals that they were much deeper into the woods. These guys, it was like the Harry and Steve or whatever. They started it at like 5 p.m. Got themselves to the cave in one night.
Yeah.
From a parking spot.
Yes.
So I mean,
It's
far as
not
cannibal, you could walk to some cabins and steal some Captain Crunch or something.
Yeah, or candles.
Yeah, and candles.
But on the only other thing is, it's good in retrospect. The movie's good because you won't forget it because there's nothing else like this. You know, you forget maybe like Slumber Party Massacre 3 or something.
Whoa.
No, not Slumber Party. No, Sleepaway Camp 3.
Yeah, maybe.
Or Sorority
like
House.
Like that. It's just like
you're
people
right.
in the woods, or, but you never forget this story because there's no story like this.
It's so weird. Like, and the evil mom is just like floating, popping up every once in a while, like in
She shouldn't have even been a ghost. That story was done with. I mean, you don't need her.
Yeah, it's so weird.
She's in purgatory or something.
Just
so weird.
Whoever wrote it was just really confused and just not focused. And so look, I'm just saying, what do Halloween 4? I know,
it's October.
It
so
is
we
October.
Should be good.
I would really love a shot. I've been proposing Halloween 4. A little behind the scenes, listeners. I've proposed it maybe 6 or 7 times, and I've been shot down by my co-host. What do you say, guys?
That sounds good for October.
Yeah, but then you're gonna post. You're gonna post something on Twitter, and the people are gonna choose the worst one again. I think they just like to hurt us.
Well, I don't know. Part of me is almost tempted to if circumstances were different and we had a lot of time and listeners and interactivity and all those things to do like a Halloween special or something, but I don't think we have
let's not be too ambitious. It's a miracle we're able to do this.
That's true, I guess. But it is our 3rd anniversary, and it's of podcasting, and it is October, which is Glory Month.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to.
Well, let's definitely do Halloween 4 then, if you guys are okay with it.
Yeah. One side note of horror interest. The Pit is playing in some select theaters next month.
Wow.
Remastered. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
In case nobody has researched that, I already ordered the Blu-ray because it has interview with Sammy Snider's on it.
Oh.
So this October's looking pretty nice.
Well, Sam, I've tried to get an interview with Sammy a number of times. He hasn't responded to me, but hey. What are you going to do?
Understandable. You just don't get Sammy Snider's,
It's a good point. At least we got Radish.
Yep, that was great.
All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody. For Tom and Charlie, this is Matt saying good night.